Welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. Caden and Leo here. Caden, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you, Mix?
I'm doing terrific because it is another double header podcast day.
Yes, it
we
is.
got 2 episodes for you guys, and my picks went pretty well. It was a bounce back week for me compared to last week in picks.
That's very true. Hey, I mean, still had a winning week over here. Not as good, obviously, as last week where we went off.
Yeah,
But hey, 2 good weeks out of both of us, I'd say.
for sure. So let's hop straight into it, talking about the first NFL game, your Patriots.
Yeah, the first NFL game, we had Drake May's debut. Texans ended up winning 41-21. We got our cover.
Yep.
It was never really in doubt the entire game.
Nope. But hey,
all I wanted to see was Drake May perform. And Drake May looked good. He had the first interception, which wasn't great, but whatever.
Yeah.
The second pick was a little like he got tipped at the line. So it ended up crazy. Just right into the breadbasket.
Yep.
But Drake May looked good. He had that deep ball to Keyshawn Booty. He was able to find Pop, who finally scored his first tutty.
Finally, you've been talking about him all year.
Hey, Pop's good, okay? Got that crosser, got him on that 36-yard end. Hunter Henry, down by the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Even with no Ramondre Stevenson, where they didn't have a run game, Drake May was actually the team's leading rusher for the game.
Which is not good.
No, that's not what you want to see. Drake still performed. Had 240 pass yards. He had the 3 tutties. Yeah, the highlight throw of mine was that deep ball to Keyshawn Booty for that first tutty. Was able to throw it about 40 yards down the field, get him in stride with a step, and it was a great throw. I was really pleased with what I saw from Drake.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about he needs to show flashes, kind of like how we mentioned in Bo Nix's entire season, what we expect to see from him. Loss for the Patriots, it was expected. That game went exactly how we thought it would. Talking about a game that did not go how we thought it would. The Denver Broncos absolutely blew it at home with a pitiful offensive performance yet again. And with the injury, the concussion, the Pat Surtain, that defense was just not the same.
Yeah, it seemed like after Bo threw that pretty bad pick on that first drive, Broncos defense comes out there right away. Pat Surtain gets hit, hits his head on the ground. And I was out with a concussion. After that happened, Chargers were able to just keep driving down the field, throw it to Quentin Johnson, Ladd McConkey, really whoever. They were able to run the ball. It really just opened up everything offensively for them once Pat Surtain was out of that game.
I know the Broncos defense held them to field goals, but that game could have been easily a more blowout type score. Just if the Chargers were able to capitalize and score touchdowns consistently as they were consistently drive down the field.
Yeah, I mean, and on the other hand, you had the Broncos offense, which looked really bad in that first half.
Until the fourth quarter.
Until the fourth quarter, yeah, that is true. Until that fourth quarter, they started making a comeback with that. Hey, maybe we could get a little bit of a cover or something here. Will Lutz's second onside kick attempt was actually pretty good. Was able to 5-hole the dude.
Yep.
But Broncos guy just couldn't dive, keep it in bounds, something, get the ball. But, I mean, good win for the Chargers. We thought the wrong team was favored in this game.
The bookie was right, I
guess. But the books were right.
The house always wins.
The house, especially there. We were all very confident. I was listening to people on VSiN too. They were all very confident in the Broncos +3. They loved that play. We loved that play.
I loved it.
Chargers got to win by 7.
Yep. Moving on, Caden, to our
afternoon
matchup in the late slate.
Yeah, it was supposed to be, people highly anticipate, especially after last year. We had the Cowboys and Lions. Where the Lions put a pummeling on the Dallas Cowboys.
What I tell you, this game went kind of like what I expected. I did not think the Dallas Cowboys were the caliber of football team as the Detroit Lions, and they showed it. They out-physicaled them. They out-schemed them. They out-coached them. They put a beat down on Jerry Jones' birthday. I think that's all I have to say about that game.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, it was good to finally see Sam Laporta get involved in the offense, finally gets that first touchdown. As a fantasy holder, though, I'm mad that not only was that his only catch, it was his only target of the game. You have probably one of the top 5 tight ends in the league getting 1 target in a game where you put up 44 points. Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but great win for the Lions. They finally, like we said, they're moving on up to what we expected, especially from them offensively.
Hitting the stride, Caden. Good quality team win.
And then going into the Sunday night game, Bengals-Giants. A little bit of a snooze fest for the most part. But
2 bad teams, Caden.
Chase Brown is the best running back in the league for not taking a dive at the 2-yard line and giving us hard cover with a minute, 50 left. Bro could have just fell, they kneeled the ball out, whatever, ball game. Nah.
He goes,
breaks that 30-yard run, dives into the end zone even, and gives us that 10-point cover to make it a nice 17-7 victory.
Hey, Caden, exactly what we needed that cover. Definitely a little more low scoring than I think we initially even thought with this game. Giants are not a good football team.
No, they're not.
Bengals are not a good football team. They just were slightly better than the Giants. And ultimately, I think it's time to start really evaluating yourself if you're the Bengals and what changes you need to make this offseason to improve, because that team is not championship caliber.
Yeah, they're not performing especially like how we've seen in the last couple of years where everyone expects the Bengals be around the top at least competing with the Ravens in the AFC North and then be able to make those deep playoff runs.
Yep.
They do not look like that team at all this year.
Not at all, kid. Definitely disappointed or underperformed in my eyes in that Sunday Night Football contest.
I mean, they've underperformed all season, really.
Most definitely.
Except for maybe that Ravens game where their offense finally looked good, but then their defense just got completely torched that whole game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When one thing clicks, the other thing just falls apart. Yep. Moving on to a Monday Night Football game, which was electric.
It was a very entertaining football game.
Final score of the game.
23-20 Bills. Got our cover on that Tyler Bass field goal with 3 minutes left.
Yes.
Game started off, and it looked like the Bills might kind of, not like run away, but handily win this game. They're up. They get that touchdown. They're up 20-10 with 30 seconds left. No one is expecting anything. A couple quick plays by the Jets, get the timeout. And then Aaron Rodgers does what Aaron Rodgers does best. There was the deep Hail Mary, Allen Lazard, to get a big play touchdown before the end of the half to make it 20-17.
Not only that, the refs were, at first, they were confused. We had no idea.
They saw the ball pop out. You're like, incomplete, right?
Incomplete, right? But no, Allen Lazard, I mean, we talked about how much Aaron Rodgers trusts him. And he also had that crazy catch later in the game as well, where Aaron Rodgers dropped it right in the pocket of the outside hip of the defender.
The defender had no idea the ball was even there.
He would have got a pick if he turned around. He said that. But it was an intense game, Caden. Really a quality Monday Night Football matchup, and I thought the Jets played better than I expected. I thought they looked more complete. Their lack of discipline, the penalties just destroyed them in the end game.
And Greg Zuerlein forgetting how to make a field goal.
100% true, Caden. I forgot to even
costing them 6 points on two pretty easy field goals right there in the third and fourth quarters.
Good point to bring up, Caden. Leaving points on the field, absolutely, in a close division matchup, can't do it.
And I think we do have to mention, though, Taylor Rapp. They were talking about it in the broadcast. He was incredible tonight.
He balled out. He was flying over the field. You saw him on almost every play getting near the football, Caden.
Yeah, saved the Breece Hall touchdown, which ended up resulting in a field goal to tie it at 20. Blows up the dude in the end zone. Saved a touchdown on Garrett Wilson. And then that another one towards the end of the fourth quarter up the middle on that big 2nd and 16. Lays him out again, incomplete pass. Just then play after got the pick for the Bills.
Playing like a man possessed, Caden. He was one of the standout players and a reason why the Bills got this victory tonight. Exciting weekend of football in the NFL.
Very much so. Now moving into college.
Yes. Some games to recap there.
First game we had, the Red River rivalry. And what happened? A Texas beatdown, baby.
This looked like the Texas team that's been on display the entirety of the season, Caden. Not much more needs to be said. I thought, because it was rivalry, Oklahoma would have a little more passion, a little more motivation. But that proved to not matter. This team is legit. This team is firing on all cylinders. And Quinn Ewers is back, baby.
Quinn Ewers back. He didn't do, too much of the game. Only finished with 199 passing yards. He didn't need to. Yeah, but he didn't need to. They were able to move the ball down the field, score their touchdown. The rushing game was incredible offensively. And Oklahoma, on the other end, has a true freshman starting at quarterback. And in a big rivalry game like this, bro was not able to handle the pressure. And Texas defense was able to get a lot of pressure on him, force bad throws, missed throws, just dominate offensively and defensively the entire game.
Yeah, Caden, this was a quality, dominant win in a rivalry statement performance for Texas. It's going to be exciting to see how they continue to roll throughout the remainder of this college football season.
This weekend, we got Texas and Georgia, baby. Be on the lookout for our predictions for that on Friday.
I know we haven't got the prediction episode, but that game is going to be electric.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Going to be a good one. Moving on, that next game we had talked about was a big matchup in the Big 12. Yes.
You had BYU and Arizona. We both had, BYU -3 at home. And they were able to win 41-19. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Caden, this game was a little more of a larger differential than I initially anticipated. I thought BYU was the better team. I thought they were going to impose their will, be physical, dominant, all the things they were. Yep. But to the extent which they were and really limited Arizona, I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, for most of that first half, especially Arizona had that early touchdown with Ted Roy and McMillan getting that big play downfield and stuff. And then in the second half, though, it was really BYU's defense which opened up the game. Fafita ended up throwing 3 picks. They had a fumble as well. That's 4 turnovers on that Arizona offense, which you're going against a team like BYU, especially at BYU.
We've talked about how good they are at home.
And you can have 4 turnovers and expect to win a game. BYU was able to capitalize off all those turnovers, put up points, and end up with an easy handled victory.
Most definitely. Another solid win for BYU. They continue to stack victory on victory, and they're moving throughout the season as well.
Yep. Now get into our night games, though. All 3 of which were absolutely amazing football games.
Great finishes, Caden.
First, starting off, though, we have Ohio State and Oregon, where Oregon ends up actually winning the game outright, 32-31.
Crazy.
And Will Howard has a questionable just mind blunder at the end of the game.
Caden, we talked about Oregon having the potential to have the upset this week. I brought it up. I don't know why I didn't just go with my gut and call Oregon. I think it's because my true hate for the Oregon Ducks. I was never going to pick them, Caden. But they did get the victory. They did enough. And that blunder, I think, what are we doing?
What are you doing? Yeah, you have 6 seconds, 1 timeout. The ball stopped. You had already held it for a couple seconds.
Too long.
And instead of just throwing it away or anything and maybe giving yourself a time for a Hail Mary, you decided to take off down the field and slide as the clock's already there, then be like, oh, timeout. Oh, we're out of time. Oh, dude, like you gotta know, especially as the quarterback. Situational awareness, especially as, the quarterback of Ohio State.
Yes.
Of all schools. Yeah, you gotta have that situational awareness, know what the clock is, and at least give your team a chance to either kick a game-winning field goal or at least try the Hail Mary there at the end.
With such a close matchup, Caden, this was such a down way to end this contest. You'd have liked to at least see Ohio State have a fighting chance, at least an opportunity to make a jump ball in the end zone or something. For the quarterback to do that really just sucked.
Okay, if we want to talk about an exciting finish, though. I was on the losing side of this. You were right about this. But down in Death Valley, down in Baton Rouge, the LSU Tigers were able to come up with a 29-23 victory in overtime.
They were, Cade. This matchup was as close as it could possibly get. We talked about how close this matchup was going to be. Again, we were on the flip side. This is one I was able to pull out with and get the correct call in LSU.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the game, especially, going into about that fourth quarter, Ole Miss was looking like they were in control. They were the better team. They were going to win this game. They get that field goal, which if they could have resulted in a touchdown, obviously changes the whole thing. But they get the field goal to make it a 7-point game. And what does Dylan Gabriel do? Drives right down the field and gets that game-tying touchdown with just under a minute left, and which was able to set it to overtime, where then their defense was able to, bad offensive penalty on Ole Miss to back them up, which hurt the drive. Then held them to a field goal. The Ole Miss kicker made a career-long 57-yard field goal, and it was all for nothing because one play later, Garrett Nussmeier was able to throw it deep to Lacey in the end zone. Touchdown. DB kind of falls down, trying to go to make a play. Easy touch on the end zone. Walk-off tutty, LSU in overtime.
Absolutely insane finish, Caden. Way for LSU to rally. They were at home. We talked about the momentum they would have being, and that was part of the reason why I decided to go with the Tigers this pick, and that made the difference in overtime, Caden. When you have the momentum, you feel comfortable, you can walk off and really defeat your opponent.
Now, though, the nightcap, the game where I lost by the hook. K-State CU, where K-State was able to win 34-31. Max, as a CU goer, fan, everything, all the above. What are your thoughts on this game?
Caden, this game was right in the palm of CU's hand. This would have been a statement victory for the Buffaloes. All the momentum in the world riding into Arizona this week. And the defense coughed it up, Caden. This defense has been the staple of the team. They've been the reason why CU's been able to win and pull away in the second half. They get stops. They play good coverage. That was thrown out the window. The secondary couldn't tackle. When Kansas State's running game made it past the initial line in first defense, it was broken ankles. It was arm tackling. It was just bad.
Yeah, they got that big pick off Avery Johnson, almost ran it back. And you're like, okay, CU's looking good here. And then right after that, defense like, let's give some more points. Let K-State take the lead back right here.
50-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. And you think Colorado's going to come back and get a chance. Which, let's talk about that pass, the no call on the PI. A penalty, a similar situation we've talked about this entire football season. That play of the underthrown football coming back has been
usually called, always gets called.
Almost always gets called. Not in CU's favor this week, Caden. It was pretty bad. You got to feel bad on that one.
Yeah, it probably was PI. You'd think the refs would probably throw the call there, especially
very common.
What we've seen in all of football this year. Every time, the underthrown deep ball happens, and they'll call the PI because receiver will make the play, DB will keep going forward, and you'll get the call.
And it's not like it's in the end zone or like way deep. Honestly, it was like would have been like what 12-yard or because the college penalty is different either way.
50, yeah.
But still, regardless, it's not like it's a game-changing or altering call. Well, for the
Buffaloes, it's a big first down for the Buffaloes. Yeah, if they get that.
The fact that was a no call really sucked because I feel we were robbed of another potential spectacular finish in both.
Yeah, it was a little surprising to see that no call happen, but CU fan aside, you did end up getting your cover by that hook. The 3.5.
Did get the cover, Caden, so that is a plus on that. I talked about the fact that CU would keep it close enough to cover or potentially win. So very accurate in that.
Good week for you. You went 7-3. I was 6-4, so a little worse. The ones we differed on, you ended up going 2-1 on against me. So it was a better weekend for you, a lot better weekend for you. Not as good for me, but 2 still positive weekends on our picks.
Most definitely. Been rolling pretty good with our picks this year, Caden. So make sure you guys are staying tuned, staying followed, and also following all our social medias, Instagram, so you can see all our picks lined out against the spread throughout the week.
And if you don't want to miss any line changes or anything, make sure you have those post notifications on or subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get those preview episodes or even our recap episodes just as soon as they go up so you know what's going on.
Most definitely, Caden. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time.